a not insignificant number of Christians who are whipped into a violent frenzy.
Jesus suffered an identity theft on January 6th.
It is
What?
a cult. Wake up!
Okay.
Anytime you can have your glasses off. Look how dark it is all around. Take a picture for Kenny, ask me.
Wow. You can't see it through the viewfinder, but that's it. Holy moly.
You see the red lights there?
It is now 3:28 p.m.
Almost out of air.
Holy moly. The lights have come on automatically.
Moving away. That is absolutely. Oh, you can see it through the glasses.
Stella is confused.
That battery should be.
A 68-year-old woman walking up the steps to her church in New York City this weekend, 8:15 in the morning, when a thug, dressed all in black, ran up ahead of her and then threw her down the stairs. The woman hit her head, fracturing her skull. Now, as she lay motionless, nearly motionless on the ground, this demon rifled through her bag and her pockets, stealing her phone, her purse, with $300 inside. Now, this behavior is classic of the psychotic junkies and soulless freaks terrorizing Americans coast to coast, but especially in places like New York. And often, they hit the most vulnerable. But it didn't end there. Joining me now is Daniel Cafaro.
Sometimes you need to take the opportunity just to come out and see a full moon is that complete rounded circle, which is made up mostly of gases. How could we as humans live on the moon?
What?
Are the gases such that we could do that?
What?
The sun is a mighty powerful heat that is almost impossible to go near the sun.
This woman's a congresswoman?
Eclipse. We've got the earthquake. Also, I learned that the cicadas are coming. Cicadas, all those things together would maybe lead one to believe that, either climate change exists.
Oh, it's climate change.
Earthquakes are not at the mercy of climate change. It's underground.
The eclipse, they've known about the eclipse coming because eclipses happen.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Put on the brakes. Put on the brakes. Welcome, welcome, boys and girls, children of all ages, hoofties, pufties, bung-eyed efforts, right and left wing wackos, woodchucks and chuckettes, kings and queens, to another version of It's News to Us. And, oh yeah, in the booth today, oh, well, who are we? Where are we? Let's see. Okay, you're watching It's News to Us. We're Newport's oldest TV news watchers. New Brown Q. We've been here since 2009, and, here's our cadaver-in-chief. Joe Rogan says he ain't gonna make it until May Philo. Yeah, because he ain't gonna make it, man. He swears to God they're gonna pull Biden for some health problems, and shuffle in the governor of California, and then
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, and then get Gruesome Newsom, and then retire Kamala Harris too. Get off my lawn. Yep, there's an old Thorazine commercial. And all hail the cadaver-in-chief. That's right. I saw him right before I came in. He was doing a news conference on the White House lawn with the Prime Minister of Japan, Prime Minister Ichibum.
Huh.
And he kept scratching away, mister. And all hail the cadaver-in-chief. And we're all inclusive here. Okay, to men, women, men who think they're women who think they're men. Yeah, we're all welcome here. Just wash your damn hands. And defund the police? No, I don't think so. It's not working out. It's not working out. And Philo was kind enough to put in a clip of this woman, an elderly woman. Yeah, she's my age. Go figure.
We're old.
Yeah, we're old, we're drunk, and we're angry.
Very much so.
And so she goes to Mass at a Greek Orthodox church in, like, I don't know, the Bronx or Brooklyn or something, every day. Every day this woman goes to Mass. And this thug, if you look at the close-up, I'm not sure if the close-up's the one we put up or another one, But you can see he's a black thug. Not that it matters what color he is. He's just a thug, a punk. And he shoves her down the stairs. She whacked her head on the stairs and got a friggin' concussion. And what do they do even when they catch him? Even when they catch him, the so-called progressives, they don't bother incarcerating them. They don't bother pressing charges, Philo. So what happens is they say, well, the crime rates are down. Well, of course the crime rates are down because you're not counting the crimes.
Funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, you rubberheads. And anyways,
it's kind of like the unemployment statistics.
Oh man, yeah.
If you're on unemployment and you run out of benefits, automatically the unemployment rate goes down because you're not on the state roll.
They came out with phony unemployment statistics, and what was it, today or yesterday? I think it was today. They came out with the inflation numbers, and they suck too. But if you're you like us, you old, drunk, and angry, you mad all the time, ask your doctor about anger chucks for woodchucks and chuckettes. And you invariably you see this sign. I don't know what it is. The black bloc, man. Whenever there's so-called peaceful protests, you see these window breakers and hellraisers, and they're spray painting this A, because that's it. They're anarchists, or communists, or whatever.
You remember that old song by the Sex Pistols?
Yeah. In the booth we have Philo T. Farnsworth. He's the College of Musical Knowledge. You can see his videos. You can see him waving in the booth over there. And yeah, with the horns. You can see his videos at Terry DeFazio on YouTube, his drumming videos. And look at this, Philo. I'm healing up. Can you do a close-up?
Hold on a second. I can zoom up and I'll zoom back. Hold on a second here.
Yeah, we got these funky new cameras, man. You can do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, they really took a bite out of me, mister.
Yeah, that nearsighted vampire. He missed your jugular vein, but he got you in the arm.
Wow. And then this one. Oops.
There it is. On that side.
Yeah. But this one, man, that's brutal.
Was that from the IVs?
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
It's a trade-off, yeah. My platelets are so low. Anyways. So who are we? Where are we? Yeah, let's see. Let's get to the news that we don't usually get to. And
yeah, because you and I like talking about other stuff.
Yeah. Why, I mean, you can pick up this crap anywhere. And
did you see all the newspapers I left you?
Yeah.
That'll keep you busy for about 5-10 minutes.
A small town news. Births, deaths, and one-car accidents. And speaking of which, on the green screen, Philo was nice enough to put this up. This was at the beginning of foliage season in the hills up above Johnson. And what's the name of that other town? Waterville? Something like that. But it's some beautiful country up there, man.
Yep, I mean, sure is.
Really nice. Lots of views. How those people hilled that back country in the old days, I don't know, man. Like, look at that house on the right. It's a brick house. How the heck did they get the bricks up there? You know what I mean? Well, I guess it's easier to haul a load of bricks with a team of horses than it is to bring them on the way down with the brakes smoking.
Yeah. Maybe it was aliens helped them.
Yeah, the aliens. Oh, speaking of which, it's a great website about the January 6th fraud. It's called fingerprintsoffraud.com. And let's see, another one called tacticalcivics.com. But anyways, yeah, what haven't we heard about? Oh, you remember when they asked Joe Bite Me why he ran for president, Philo?
It was so long ago.
Yeah. And he said that, well, it was because of that rally in Charlottesville, you know. I could see those guys carrying the tiki torches, saying Jews will not replace us. Veins on their head bulging out, you know, on their necks. That's when I knew I had to run, right? Well, where is he now? Where is he now? His own people, these so-called progressives, his own people are chanting in Dearborn, Michigan. They're chanting death to America and death to Israel in Arabic, no less.
Wonderful.
Lovely. Yeah. And then yesterday, they arrested 50 people at the Capitol. Now, are they going to keep those 50 people in jail until their trial, like they did with Trump's January 6th people? Oh, hell no. And you know who they were, Philo? As soon as I saw the video, I'm all like, okay, I know who these people are. It was Medea Benjamin from Code Pink. She runs an outfit. They're professional protesters, is what they are, basically.
That's the second most useless job in the country.
Yeah, I think, I don't think she lives in Washington, I'm not sure. But they live across the friggin' Potomac, maybe. And what they do is they have a few people on the insider, staffers or whatever, and they'll get tickets to the hearings, like the Kavanaugh hearings for Supreme Court. And then they'll get up in the middle of the hearings and start screaming and stuff like that and have to be dragged out. And then later on, two more will start screaming and get dragged out. But I could see their pink T-shirts. And this woman looks just like Pee Wee Herman, Philo.
What an honor that must be.
She looks like Pee Wee Herman with a friggin' blonde wig. You can't miss her, man. And so they arrested 50 of them. That means the Capitol was flooded with them. And they were saying if the people in Gaza can't eat, you can't eat either. So they'd shut down the Senate cafeteria when everybody was trying to get something to eat. So you know what all that did, right, Philo? All that did was put some money in the pockets of all these Uber Eats people.
Yeah.
If the cafeteria shut down, your average senator or staffer or whatever, they're going to get on their little radioactive snitch in their pocket and call up Uber Eats and have something delivered. So you basically just postpone their lunch for about a half an hour. That's it. Good going. Code Pink. Right. And the Consumer Price Index.
I love talking about that. It's so exciting.
Yeah. The numbers just came out. It's up for 3.5%, Philo, in March alone. So this is insane. We haven't seen inflation like this since we were kids, during Carter. And when Jimmy Carter was president, it was no fault of his, because the oil workers in Iran went on strike, and we didn't have fracking or anything back then, so we were dependent on the Middle East for about, something like 25% of our oil, Philo. Remember?
And Jimmy Carter was the only one that wanted to start stockpiling the oil. He was the one that got that started with the salt mines out in Utah.
Yeah, in Louisiana too, yep. They, speaking of which, they asked Biden about that, about refilling the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, Philo.
He probably asked, what's that?
Well, no. Well, they asked his spokeswoman there, little orphan Annie, Karine Jean-Pierre. They asked her about it. And what did she say? Yeah, ask the Department of Energy.
That's not my job description.
Yeah, it's not my job, man. It's not my job. Mm-hmm. It's not my job. It's his job. And so, and when Trump tried to refill it at the height of the damn pandemic, scamdemic, at the very height of it, Trump wanted to refill the damn reserve at $20 a barrel, and Chucky Schumer said no. You're just giving a boondoggle to the oil companies.
Well, isn't that what the Democrats do just as well? All that happened, Steve, was they wanted to take credit for it and they couldn't.
Yeah.
That's where they stop it.
Oh, man. And speaking of which, I just caught the tail end of this. I didn't get this full article, but you could look it up. It seems that the guy who started that failing company called Cylindra, the cylindrical or tubular friggin' company, solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's back. He's back, and he's latched on to the government teat, Philo. I didn't have a chance to look up the article. I should have. And we've got over 140,000 Chinese commies now, Philo.
Oh, okay. We don't have to start our own party then, do we?
Oh, no. Military-age Chi-Coms, as Rush Limbaugh would say. The Chi-Coms. They're here. And, you know where Limbaugh used to get that from, Philo?
Where's that?
The Chi-Com thing? It was, his father was a fighter pilot. I knew he was a fighter pilot in World War II. I'm not sure if he served in the Korea conflict. It's always a conflict when they don't declare war. Oh yeah, we were gonna put on this video of Biden's CPAP face. It shows Bernie and Biden side by side. They were supposed to have lunch together at like 11 o'clock. Biden comes out an hour late, and you can see the stretch marks on his face from where he had a CPAP unit bolted or strapped to his head.
And Bernie's older than Biden, and he's 10 times sharper.
Yeah.
Even when Biden was not demented.
And he even looks better.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like frickin' Albert Einstein, but he looks a lot better than young Frankenstein friggin' Biden, man.
Igor.
Yeah, they ran that movie on what was it, Sunday night, I think, Saturday night, and I was watching it on Turner Classic because it's no commercials, and I should have got a clip of that because it every time I see the monster, it was that Peter Boyle with that greasy Joe Biden friggin' overhang of hair that overhangs his collar. Because that's the line, the delineation, a line of delineation where they took out all these plugs to put on the top of his head that wound up coming out 20 years later anyways.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the hell, man? You're going to get old. Why fight it, All you're going to do is, you're going to wind up with bad-looking plastic surgery.
Yeah. And these people with tons of tattoos.
Oh, man.
They're all going south.
Yeah, man, oh man.
Somebody I know who used to run a nursing home said you should see what happens to tattoos when you turn 80. He says that the eagle doesn't look like an eagle anymore.
I was talking to a buddy of mine in Florida, and I told her, I said, you know what? I said I think I'm going to start dyeing my hair, friggin', because it was like when I was in the hospital. If you have gray hair, they yell at you. They figure you're half deaf. I had to keep telling these people, everybody from the cleaning crew to the young doctors on call or whatever. I had to keep telling them, look, I'm not deaf, okay? I could hear you just fine. And so she said, I'd have to get used to it. I'd have to probably have it done every couple of weeks or the gray hairs start showing. But I remember my wife doing that. And it used to involve like some kind of bib and nasty chemicals and brushes and whatnot. And So she was telling me the only reason she gets street cred with the younger crowd is from her tattoos, Philo.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, the youngsters see the tattoos and they think Granny's pretty cool. Yeah, let's see. Oh, the CDC, according to the Epoch Times.
Oh,
the
CDC, my favorite bunch.
Yeah, our favorite bunch. Man, hopefully we'll have enough time to get to Senator Ron Johnson and his battles with the CDC. Anyways,
what a bunch of idiots! They're greedy idiots.
Yeah, and they all work. They're all working for the pharmaceutical companies. So why do we bother paying them? So the CDC has finally released the hidden COVID vax injury reports. It's like 3 years late, and in Epoch Times and the other outfit had to sue them. Take them to court to get the results. You know, but it's perfectly. Just remember, just keep saying this over and over and over again, boys and girls. Safe and effective. Safe and effective.
You know, if you tell a lie long enough and loud enough, it'll become the truth.
Yeah.
Really, believe me.
It's crazy. Oh, and I was admitted to the hospital the day that stupid bridge got slammed into down in Baltimore.
Oh, gee. I'm sorry.
And you know what little orphan Annie at the White House called it, Philo?
Probably some sort of a natural disaster.
No, even better. She called it the Francis Scott King Bridge.
I'm going to run away from home.
Yeah. It's not Francis Scott Key, the guy who wrote the national anthem, to the tune of an old English drinking song.
Yay, that's what we need.
Yeah, it was Francis Scott King, who must have been Coretta Scott King's brother.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the way I figured it. They had to tie in the Negroes in there somehow. And get this, according to RFK, Philo, I didn't know this either. Now, I didn't have time to research this for sure, but according to RFK Jr., they're changing Alzheimer's to type 3 diabetes. It's
Why?
like, what?
Why?
Because that's what it is. They supposedly, according to him, it's type 3 diabetes. It's not doesn't have its own diagnosis. I'll have to look that one up, or you guys can look it up yourselves.
That doesn't sound kosher to me.
No. And why have I got this written down here? $422,000 for native healing circles for diabetes. They must have paid that out. Yeah. They paid that out during the pandemic. $422,000 for healing circles for the engines, Philo.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And Biden and the snowflakes are going on and on and on about the Israelis whacking these Muslim friggin' wackos. You people forget that they killed and kidnapped like 1,500 people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just forget about that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, remember when Joe Biden had that strike after they blew up a bomb at the something gate, Abbey Gate in Kabul? President Bite Me came out and had an airstrike, and he said it was a righteous airstrike in Kabul. They killed 10. 7 of the 10 were children, and we found out a couple days later they were loading water. No, a week or so later, they were loading drinking water into their uncle's car, Philo.
Now that's a terrorist.
Yeah, that's us.
Yep.
That's us.
Well, you don't know what was in that water. It could have been heavy water like the Germans were going to use for nuclear weapons, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's when it's us, it's a righteous strike. And in 2008, W. Bush said that the Ukraine and Georgia will be in NATO. God, I can't see in my own handwriting.
I do that all the time.
Ukraine and Georgia will be in NATO. And then Putin invaded both of them. Oh, sure. And the Ukraine's lost 100,000 plus 30,000 troops at least. Now they're saying it could be up to 500,000 Ukrainian troops were lost in the war, Philo. And they're wondering why they can't get anybody to fight, men or women. Parents who are conscientious, like my parents. My mother said, look, if I knew what was going to happen with that stupid war in Vietnam, I would have sent your brother up to live in Canada. But that's what they're doing over there, man. And you know, we're not gonna get into a war with Putin. We can't. Yeah, it's crazy. It'd be insane. You know that he's got this thing called the Zircon, Philo.
Really?
Yeah, it's a hypersonic missile that goes 7,000 miles an hour. It goes so fast that our Patriot batteries can't keep up or strike them. And the cities that he wants are my mother's village, of course, because there's a nuclear power plants there. He wants the cities of, he wants to keep Kharkov, Odessa, and Zaporozhye, and a couple other eastern cities. And it looks like he's going to keep them, man. And that's just the way it is. It's just too bad. Oh, and Biden, I think I mentioned this last week too. Europe and the U.S. and Europe are holding on to $300 billion plus in U.S. treasuries that Russia owns, but technically we could pull the plug on them, okay? And that's what Biden wants to do. He's starting to threaten Congress that if Congress doesn't give him the 60 to 100 billion he wants for the Ukraine, then he's going to cash in these treasuries or put a hold on them. 260 billion in Europe, 40 billion in the USA. The others and the Europeans see this as theft. And other countries have been going to gold. And Russia had 1/4 or 174 to 224 billion just from the U.S. inflation, earned 48 billion in gold, Philo. Yeah, so early June or July, they're talking about stealing this money from Russia. And that's when interest rates would rise. Our dollar would become practically worthless. It's just, these people are insane. They're willing to sink the whole ship. They're willing to throw everything away, all of Western civilization, because of this stupid Ukrainian crap. And I got relatives over there, and I wouldn't send them a nickel. I'm telling you, we don't know where this money's going. And it's like Fort Knox. We've been after him for years. Rand Paul's father, Ron Paul, him and Bernie had tried to audit the Federal Reserve, Philo, and find out how much gold there was in Fort Knox, if any, because there have been people for years who are saying that the soldiers at Fort Knox are guarding an empty hole in the ground. And the Federal Reserve says, look, we're a private group of bankers. We don't have to provide you with any information, Philo.
So Fort Knox is not federally owned?
It's an Army base.
Well, it should be federally owned then.
Yeah, but what's in it? It's like supposedly they rent it to the Federal Reserve. Now, there's a great book out. I know it sounds crazy, but there's a great book on the formation of the Federal Reserve and how it came about with the Rockefellers. And, you know, I heard this the other day. They came out and said, well, they created the Federal Reserve to come up with the income tax to pay for World War I. Well, when did World War I start, Philo?
What was it, 1915, 14?
Yeah, it was. We didn't start shipping troops over until 1918. But yeah, the Archduke didn't even get shot until the Archduke Ferdinand didn't even get shot until 1914, Philo.
Yeah, well, you asked when World War I was, and that's sort of when it started.
Yeah, and the Federal Reserve was created in 1913. So if it was created for World War I, how did they create it in 1913, a full year before World War I even started?
Well, they were psychic. They knew what was going to happen before it happened, right?
I guess so. See, what happened is they all got together. They had private railroad cars. They didn't have jets back then, obviously, right? But all the rich pricks had private railroad cars, and they would uncouple them and whatever, so the press was trying to follow them, and a couple people got word to the press, and they followed them. Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, all of these people, right? They followed them to a little island off the coast of Savannah, Georgia, right? Called Jekyll Island.
Oh, wow.
And the name of the book about the formation of the Federal Reserve is The Creature from Jekyll Island.
Huh.
It's about this thick, but it's worth reading. I'm telling you, you can see it's not federal. They have no reserves. It's like 13 families got together, like the friggin' Godfather, right? 13 families got together and decided to parcel out different Federal Reserve banks in different parts of the country, like St. Louis and Boston and Atlanta. And it's just crazy, man. It's cray-cray. But we're supposed to believe, oh yeah, they did that, oh geez, yeah, full year before the Archduke even got shot. And speaking of injustice, they're going after anybody who represented Trump, Philo, or worked with Trump. They're being disbarred. The lawyers are.
Okay, well, I'll go to the bar with them then, okay?
Yeah. They're going after Attorney John Eastman, Jeffrey Clark, and a couple other, they're constitutional attorneys. And all they did was question the stupid election. And, I got a question for you. What do you think the average GPA was for a Harvard graduate in the 1950s, Philo?
For Harvard?
Yeah.
Geez, I don't know. It's probably worth a lot more than today, isn't it?
No, but I mean the average GPA. What do you think you went in or came out with?
I'm not even sure.
Though back in the 1950s, it was 2.55, right?
Okay.
Now.
I see. Grade point average. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know the Ivy Leagues have a higher standard for their athletes.
Yeah, and now, because of gradeflation, the average GPA is 3.19. Okay, yeah, and what was it? A few days ago, the latest jobs report came out. They found that they created the economy, as Bite Me says, not the economy, the economy. The economy created 335,000 jobs. But what they don't tell you is that most of all these jobs were part-time, and almost all of them went to foreign-born people in the U.S.
And probably a lot of them were lost during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. They're just being replaced.
Yep.
And 75,000 of the 75,000 were government jobs, Philo.
Oh boy, I just love those government jobs.
Yeah. And behind the job comes the pension.
Mm-hmm.
Never forget it, man. Yeah. Let's see, 3.5%. Oh, 5,000 votes in Georgia should have been rejected for signature verification. And speaking of which, someone just signed an amicus brief. Oh, man.
Is that Amicus and Andy?
Yeah. In Georgia, this is, you have to go out on the My Pillow Guy's website. In Georgia, a couple of the Republican Party and the Secretary of State or some damn thing, he signed an amicus brief for Mike Lindell's Supreme Court case against the voting machines. Because they found out that the voting machines, Philo, the voting machines in Georgia had the decryption keys inside the machines. Which is exactly like, okay, for those of you who don't know computers like me, the analogy would be that that you would have the combination to the safe at your bank, the big combination on the humongous door, that you would have the combination taped to a piece of paper outside the door, and that would keep any wrongful shenanigans from happening, Philo.
Well, with the level of education some people have, they probably couldn't read it anyway.
Yeah, you could just turn it over and put it on the back of a calendar.
Speaking of economy, I worked with a guy who used to always leave the front part of a word off. Do you know the guy who ran against Bush in 1988? His name was Caucus. And then he hated Bush so much he said he should be peached.
Yeah. Well, actually, his name is M. Stanley Caucus. For those of you keeping track. And what killed me, what was it, last week or the week before, they came right out and said that the biggest reason to give money to the Ukraine and to prolong this war is to help the U.S. economy, that we are so dependent on war-making materials, we're so dependent on them, that we're going to borrow money from our grandchildren and give it to outfits like General Dynamic and Lockheed Martin and all these other companies. That's not crazy, right, Philo?
Well, in the late 60s when Vietnam was really ramping up, things were booming. Because of war production. It's like, gosh, you have to have a war to have a good economy? Heaven forbid.
For all of you who have never seen it, you have to watch President Eisenhower's farewell address to the nation. You have to see it. It's only like 3 minutes, okay? Where he says, beware the military-industrial complex.
And this was a 5-star general, folks.
Yeah.
This is a military guy telling you to beware.
Yep.
I always liked Ike, you know that?
Oh, he was a straight shooter, man.
It's too bad that the CIA messed with him and got us involved in Iran.
Yeah, well, they were out of control by it. That's when they went out of control, man. He appointed one of the Dulles brothers as Secretary of State and the other Dulles brother as head of the CIA. And they went in and just took out an elected leader, Mossadegh, for British oil. That was the thing. Truman did everything he could to stop him. Truman said, no, we're not going to support any of England's colonies anywhere, anytime. And Truman put the bite on him. But Ike came in and Ike folded. And that's when it started, man. They took out Mossadegh, and then one by one, and under the pretense of fighting communism.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. They went in.
Now you got somebody even worse.
Yeah. They went in everywhere. They, and finally ending in Cuba.
Yep.
And that's when JFK put his foot down and said, no, this is got to stop. We're not going into Cuba. We're not going into Laos. And we're not going into Vietnam. But and look what happened.
And we ended up, Johnson went into Vietnam, Nixon escalated it into Laos, and eventually he went down into Chile.
Oh yeah, they sent their B team down to get Pinochet.
Yep.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yep.
Nixon was scared of him, man. You gotta that's another movie for those of you who've never seen it. Get the director's cut of JFK by Oliver Stone. Nixon got it, but there was nothing he could do about it. He couldn't stop it. It's like a runaway train, man.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't stop it.
That's right.
Yep. Let's see. Anything else news on this? Have we used up all our news that isn't news? Oh, last but not least on this one. A day after a New York judge ruled that Trump's hush money trial, now other people would call it a non-disclosure agreement, okay? And they brought this up like 5 times in the 2016 election, and everybody declined to prosecute Trump because people sign non-disclosure agreements all the time. You know, but here they got to make it look dirty, and it's hush money. Hush money trial could go ahead as planned on Monday, 15 April, as a Republican candidate attacked both the justice and his daughter on Truth Social, accusing him of political bias. Well, they are extremely biased, and the damn judge's daughter is making money with her consulting service on her father beating up on Trump. Judge Juan Merchan, a very distinguished looking man. What's that got to do with anything? Who wrote this?
Extinguished.
Yeah. Joe Sommerland. Methinks Joe Sommerland might have a man crush on this judge.
No, that could be.
Yeah.
A lot of that going on now.
I guess so. Like Mitt Romney. Who was the guy who was after him? Mike Wallace's kid there. Yeah, Mitt Romney's an extraordinarily good-looking man. Yeah, he's never a good-looking man. Is nevertheless a true and certified Trump hater who suffers from a case of Trump derangement. Yeah, let's see. His daughter is a senior executive at a super liberal Democrat firm that works for Adam Shifty Schiff, the DNC, the Democratic Senate Majority PAC, and even crooked Joe Biden. This is third world stuff, people, man. This is third world stuff. This is like going after your political opponents by trying to throw them in jail. Let's see.
Well, they ain't going to throw themselves in jail, and they all deserve it anyway.
Yeah. If anybody deserves to go to jail, they can look right in the mirror. Like they pick the only clean guy on the planet and try and railroad him, while the dirtiest guy in American politics is President of the United States. Let's see. It was recently the judge on an unrelated trial of a long-term employee, elderly and not in good health. The judge treated him viciously, telling him either you cooperate or I'm putting you in jail for 15 years. Unsurprisingly, the judge swiftly acquiesced with a request from Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg to impose a partial gag order on Trump to prevent him from speaking out publicly about the case in order to protect witnesses, jurors, lawyers, court staff, and their families. That's baloney. You have a First Amendment right. They didn't do anything to protect the Supreme Court justices when they were being threatened at their homes and outed with people on the interweb saying where they lived and stuff, Philo.
And they haven't provided RFK Jr. with any protection either.
Secret Service protection, yeah.
None for him. Oh no, the Democrats want him out of here.
This, I'm telling you, Terry, my party, our party, has done a 180 and gone totally fascist.
Yes, they have. Yep.
It's nuts.
Yep, they have.
Let's see. Trump made a habit of attacking judges. Oh, yeah. Let's see. His daughter worked for Kamala, and now the Biden-Harris campaign. Kangaroo court. You gotta love Trump. All in capital letters, no less. In support of his claims, Trump's 2 adult sons, Donald and Eric, posted links on the same platform to articles on conservative websites Breitbart and Gateway Pundit, attacking Merchant's daughter, Lauren Merchant, by pointing out that she had worked as president and partner of Authentic Campaigns during the 2020 election cycle, a company that runs digital campaigns for Democratic candidates, insinuating political bias. Citing an archive LinkedIn page, those sites reported that Merchant's daughter worked as the director of digital persuasion. That sounds like it sounds like what do you call it? A room with whips and chains in the basement, Philo.
Now that would be too much fun.
Yeah. The Center for Digital Persuasion. You got to be kidding me. Did I read that right? Did I read that right? Director for Digital Persuasion. I did. You can't make this up. Director of Digital Persuasion for Kamala Harris for the People from February of 19 through December of 2019. And noted the company website featured a testimonial from Shifty that listed the Biden-Harris campaign amongst his clients. California Governor Newsom and Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senator Cory Booker have reportedly worked with the progressive firm also. Yeah. Hakeem Jeffries and Cory Booker. Huh. A couple of black guys who like Lindsey Graham, have never who've never married, Philo, and never been seen out with any girlfriends. Now, I'm not insinuating anything here, but
I know a few people who are asexual, but they don't act like those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Tiptoe through the tulips. NBC News looked into the matter when the Trumps first raised it and concluded there's no available evidence to suggest his daughter, the judge's daughter, has done any work for Biden, and no evidence to suggest she now works for the Biden political operation. Oh, I trust NBC News. You know why? Because we didn't dig into it and look up for any records or anything. We just asked them, and they said no. So, you know, that's the way it was. It was like with Nixon and Watergate. We asked him, did you break into the Watergate? And he said, why, no, I never did. So we never, we know we never did.
He also said he wasn't a crook, too.
Yeah, and he's not a crook. Yeah. Unbelievable. Trump's rhetoric attacking merchants and Bragg led them to receive dozens of threats against their safety. Oh my. Like anyone working in public service or anyone working for the district attorney or never gets any threats, Philo.
Yeah, right.
You could be put in, especially RFK Jr. Yeah. Dozens of threats in the 24 hours following the president's arraignment. Well, that's before he said anything. What? That was before he even said anything. What the hell's wrong with you people? Those threats forced court officers from the New York police detail assigned to the DA's office to ramp up security to protect Merchant and Bragg, while the biographies of court employees and office staff were taken offline for their own protection. Their biographies? What difference does that make? The biographies don't include their home addresses, right?
Not that I know of.
We're supposed to believe this, boys and girls. Really? This is crazy. Oh, yeah. Now that the judge has moved to silence him with a fresh gag order, a violation of the First Amendment, the defendant is likely to use it to further push the suggestion that he's being victimized and denied his fundamental rights, providing further grifts for his campaign fundraising emails and text appeals. Well, yeah, because it's true. I mean, I never thought I would see the day. I never thought I would see the day that this country is going down that rabbit hole.
Well, it's going fast.
Yeah, it's going down the turlet, Philo.
You're telling me.
Oh, did you know that trans surgery for kids is a $70 billion a year?
No, but if you hum a few bars, I'll try to pick up the tune.
No, wait a minute. $70 billion a year for immigrants. Oh, that's what it is. For healthcare for immigrants, $70 billion a year. For kids' tranny surgery and etc. is $7 trillion a year worldwide, I think. Yeah, let's see. Moms for Liberty put out this thing about the New York City schools, saying that only 11% can read at proficiency, 90% illiteracy. 90% illiteracy in the public schools. And the teachers keep screaming for more money. Why, we just need more money for our unions, Philo.
Yeah, that's all anybody wants, is more money. And you know what the other thing that kills me is, especially with athletes, and it doesn't even matter what level they are, everybody's got to be on show. Everything is a showboat now. I mean, I see it in high school football all around the country. They show these clips and they're imitating the big guys. They're doing the exact same things.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, don't it?
Yep.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, 90% illiteracy, massive hiring of bureaucrats.
Yeah, we like those. Those are good.
Yet the churches and media are under attack. Okay, sure. Why not?
I know you're going to want to know this, Steve, but the Frozen Four starts tomorrow.
Trojan Force? What's that?
The Frozen Four.
Oh, what the hell is that?
College ice hockey.
Oh, for Christ's sakes.
They don't call it the Final Four because that's basketball, so they call it the Frozen Four because it's on ice.
Huh. I thought it was like a dog sled race.
No, that's the Iditarod.
Yeah. Mush! Mush, you Huskies! Mush! Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Biden's kid. Yeah, China always makes deals with crackheads. They always do. Oh yeah, hate speech laws. Man, oh man. All right, let's get to the epic times here. Oh man, yeah, I love these commercials about tardive dyskinesia.
Yes, I see them all the time.
It's crazy. Yeah, I was having I was doing okay with my mental health meds until I started like dropping stuff and having uncontrollable muscle movements. Mm-hmm. So I talked to my doctor, and instead of having like a different kind of therapy that didn't involve any drugs, they put me immediately on more drugs.
Yeah. Oh, last but not least, Steve.
Oh, last but not least, oh my God. Okay. One of those executive orders. God, I didn't get anywhere the epic times here. Okay, last but not least. According to... All right, here we are, right here. Just so I'm not telling a lie. It's right here in the epic times. Thanks, Philo. Attempted suicide rates among people who identified as trans more than doubled after they received a vaginoplasty. According to a peer-reviewed study in the Journal of Urology, they analyzed rates of psych emergencies before and after the surgery among 869 males who got the vaginoplasty and 357 females who underwent the phalloplasty in California. Researchers found the rates of psych emergencies were high both before and after the surgery and similar overall to rates in both groups. However, suicide attempts were markedly higher in those who received the vaginoplasties.
Okay, we got to run.
All right, last but not once again, and look up, before you have any surgeries, look up the phalloplasties, see for yourself, see what they look like, the outcomes are. Don't take anyone's word for it. Look it up online. Once again, you wasted a perfectly good hour of your life watching this stupid show, so hopefully we'll see you again next week. Inshallah, good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. So until then, get down on your hands and knees in the men-only mosque. Sniff the bum of the guy in the man dressed next to you. Head east towards Mecca and worship the meteorite and go, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Akbar.
A not insignificant number of Christians who are whipped into a violent frenzy.
Jesus suffered an identity theft on January 6th.
It is
What?
a cult. Wake up!
Okay.
Anytime you can have your glasses off. Look how dark it is all around. Take a picture for Kenny, ask me.
Wow. You can't see it through the viewfinder, but that's it. Holy moly.
You see the red light there?
It is now 3:28 p.m.
Almost out of air.
Holy moly. The lights have come on automatically.
Moving away. That is absolutely. Oh, you can see it through the glass.
Stella is confused.
That battery should be.
A 68-year-old woman walking up the steps to her church in New York City this weekend, 8:15 in the morning, when a thug, dressed all in black, ran up ahead of her and then threw her down the stairs. The woman hit her head, fracturing her skull. Now, as she lay motionless, nearly motionless on the ground, this demon rifled through her bag and her pockets, stealing her phone, her purse, with $300 inside. Now, this behavior is classic of the psychotic junkies and soulless freaks terrorizing Americans coast to coast, but especially in places like New York. And often, they hit the most vulnerable. But it didn't end there. Joining me now is Daniel Cafaro.
Sometimes you need to take the opportunity just to come out and see a full moon is that complete rounded circle, which is made up mostly of gases. How could we as humans live on the moon?
What?
Are the gases such that we could do that?
What?
The sun is a mighty powerful heat that is almost impossible to go near the sun.
This woman's a congresswoman?
Eclipse. We've got the earthquake. Also, I learned that the cicadas are coming.
Cicadas?
Cicadas, all those things together. What maybe lead one to believe that, either climate change exists.
Oh, climate change.
Earthquakes are not at the mercy of climate change. It's underground.
Now, the eclipse, they've known about the eclipse coming because eclipses happen.